Look, I want to talk about something slightly more positive that's pop culture
Okay.
and comics related. And I know Pat doesn't keep up on this sort of thing, but
This is where Wirecast comes in handy. So I'm gonna go right to your.
some people have said that they'd like us to talk about comics a bit more beyond this, and so here we go. I'm going to talk about Dredd Underbelly, which came out last week, and it's a big deal for a couple of reasons. One, it's a sequel to the Dredd movie, which I know at least you've heard of.
I've heard of it.
It's supposed to be very good, and it is.
Better than the fucking Stallone one.
Oh no, it's fantastic, and it didn't do well in theaters because of the stigma associated with the Stallone and the fact that U.S. audiences have no idea who Dredd is.
Sure.
Now there's more awareness now,
but he's not popular at all here.
Well, he's getting there, but this is where we're getting. This is what I'm getting at. Yeah. So the campaign starts for sequel, and 2000 AD is like, tell you what, we're gonna write a comic book that's kind of gonna be a direct follow-up. So basically, they're going not exactly a direct follow-up, but they're gonna write it in the universe of
the movie,
the Dredd movie. And they're doing it specifically for the U.S. audience, which is the first time 2000 AD, and they've been around since, I think, 77, has ever made a comic specifically with the American audience in mind. So they got Henry Flint, a veteran Dredd artist, on it, who's amazing. I freaking adore him. And then they got Alan Wyatt to do the story. And they released it. And the fucking thing sold out in 48 hours. A Dredd comic sold out in 48 hours.
Is it a one-shot?
It was a one-shot. In the U.S., sold out in 48 hours.
Like 100 pages or something?
Nope. Much shorter. I'm going to get into that. This is my problem with it. So, it's insane. That sent a message. DVD and Blu-ray sales have sent a message that people like this movie. They put out the comic. It sells in 48 hours. Ask my girlfriend who works at a comic shop. My fiance works at a comic shop. Anything selling out in 48 hours is pretty fucking big beyond like the toppest tier stuff.
Sure.
Problem is, not the best book. Art-wise, it was fantastic because it's Flint. It looks gorgeous. The pages are beautiful to look at. There's a center scene it's a spread that shows Dredd infiltrating, this building, right? And just the way it's drawn from the kind of the top down with like the roof cut off is fantastic. It's really cool looking. Problem is if you want to really do a good story arc, especially one that you want to call like a follow-up to a movie, you kind of need like a 4-issue mini. So what we ended up with was something that was really pretty to look at, was almost incomprehensible to read, and not to mention it was also kind of it was basically the same story as the movie. But I think the thing that makes me happy about it, and here's the problem, I can't have any discourse with you on things like the story or anything, but what it did succeed in doing was send a very strong message as to the now popularity of Dredd in the U.S. They're reprinting it on February 11th, and the reprint has already got heavy pre-orders. So they sold out of the first printing, and the reprint is already highly anticipated.
Wait a minute, so if you knew you were going to discuss it, why didn't you give me to read? I could have read it in an hour.
Well, you could have. I didn't think about it until I was at work.
So don't yell at me.
Work?
Don't yell at me like, "Oh, you don't read comics."
Well, you don't.
And then bring up a topic. You could have gave me the fucking comic to read.
There's no point in you reading if you haven't seen the movie.
I could have still gave my opinion if it was well written, if the art was good, if it was worth it for like 30 pages or whatever.
It's pretty.
Don't yell at me, Ian. I'm yelling at you.
I'll yell at you all.
Don't feel ill at me. Don't make me yell at you, Ian. That's what I'm saying. Don't make me yell at you.
So I guess my last thing is this, guys. If you didn't pick it up, if you're interested in Dredd, if you had any interest in it but you couldn't get a copy, they're reprinting it February 11th. No, you are not going to be blown away by the story. There's a lot of holes in it, but it is really pretty to look at. As an art piece, it's nice. Buy it and send the message that Dredd is something that you want to see more of in the U.S.